Good morning. Welcome to another one mind meditation. Alright, I have a long one to get through this morning. Let me get started. Our teacher this week is Anita Moorjani. It would be a great idea for you to search her name, read her story. She basically just about died from cancer on the hospital bed and had a near-death experience, came back, and the cancer disappeared within the next couple of weeks because of her realization while she basically passed away for a moment. Well, with reading her story, this is a takeaway from her journey for our meditation this morning. Craig, a very good morning. Anthony, good morning. Sunmuddy, good morning. It's awesome seeing you here. So when you change the way that you see yourself, really everything changes. We see the world through the lens of how we view ourselves. In fact, you can test this by becoming aware of how often your own subconscious asks the question, what does this say about me? Have you ever noticed that sometimes your subconscious does this? Something happens, an incident happens, and your subconscious can't help but scan around and go, what does this say about me? Here are some examples. When you're trying to park the car and you accidentally bump the curb, or when a cashier disrespects you, or when your child throws a tantrum in a public place, or you lose a business deal, a scared part of our subconscious can't help but look around and wonder if anyone else saw this fail and asks, what does this say about me? This view of ourselves is the lens through which we evaluate the reactions from the people around us. When we upgrade the way we see ourselves, then we upgrade the way we see the people around us as well. Linda, good morning. It is awesome seeing you. So a few thoughts from Anita Moorjani to lead us into today's meditation. Hey Leshna, good morning. She says, loving yourself means being your own best friend, standing by yourself at all times, including times of failure, being there for yourself no matter what. The next thought from Anita Moorjani sounds like this. She says, love yourself like your life depends on it. Because it really does. And that was the big realization that she had as she saw herself lying on that hospital bed. She realized that she's actually never really loved this person. When you're good to yourself, you're actually being good to everyone around you, because when you feel good, you'll only react well to other people. At the same time, it's very easy for you to do things for other people when you know that other people are just an extension of yourself. Transform your world by transforming your internal state. Start by learning to let go of negative self-judgment and replace it with positive and loving thoughts about yourself. Be kind to yourself and watch your external world change. And then the last thought, she refers to something inside in a more direct way, that we have parts of ourselves that need our acceptance. We have parts of ourselves that might feel rejected. She says, when you can completely love your ego unconditionally and accept it as a part of how you express in this life, you'll no longer have a problem with it. It will not impede your growth. On the contrary, it will be an asset. Can you look at every part of you, and by that I really mean the worst parts of you, and have acceptance for what you see? Because when you can, everything in your system calms down and comes together, and even the worst parts of you kind of make sense when you understand and accept them. That is our meditation today. It is called a sense of self. And in today's meditation, we invite all of our inner children, call them ego, call them inner child, call them parts, whatever we want to call them, small selves, Invite those inner children to come and sit with us for a while and tell them that we are here to listen, we are here to understand, and see how your system becomes one. If you're ready, you can close your eyes and let's float away on today's journey together, starting with the first few big breaths. Let's take a deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. A deep inhale. And let it go. Deep breath in and out. And one more big breath in. And let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, also raise yourself up. As you breathe in, stretch out your spine, lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. And once you've reached your full height, then let all of it go. When you exhale, completely soften. As you breathe out, soften your spine, slump down your shoulders, drop your head. And while you continue your own full body breathing, we are inviting these inner children to come and sit with us. Come and sit around our feet. In my mind, the picture always looks like the grade 1 teacher calling the children to come and sit on the mat, listen to story time. The very general examples that I like to use in a meditation like this are sadness, anger, and fear. But you might have your own more specific examples, and you could use those or just follow along the journey with these easy examples. Call these inner children closer and ask them if they'd like to breathe along with you. What would it look like to see them rise and fall in their own full body breathing? What would sadness look like? Sometimes it's easy to find a picture of this part of myself, and sometimes not so easy to get a picture, but we tend to get a sense of this part. So however it comes up for you, doesn't matter. Simply pay attention to what would sadness look like for you. What would the angry part of you look like? Would it sit and breathe along with you if you asked it to? Or would it say, no, I don't want to do this? And just like we've been reminded by Anita Moorjani, we need to have acceptance for this part as well, even if it says, no, I don't want to do this. You're allowed to say no, anger. I'll just sit and breathe here next to you. And how about the scared part of you? What would the scared part of you look like if you could form a picture of it? Well, we're just at the end of this full body breathing. Please try and reach out to these inner children to let them know that you're here to listen to them. You really want to hear them. You are here to understand. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, helping our bodies stretch, adjust, and settle down into as much comfort as possible, and you can invite these inner children to do the same. Let's take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward and roll out your neck muscles. Go forward and to the left, and also forward and to the right. Take a deep breath in. And as you release, roll your shoulders forward in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, focus on your spine. Lean your upper body over to the left, and also lean your upper body over to the right. Imagining in your mind the shape of a banana. As you lean over and have your spine copy that shape. One more big breath in. And as you release, you can stretch or move or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a state of presence as much as we are able to for the moment, we can now turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of our journey. If you don't have the time to sit for the whole meditation with us, then this is a really good place to stop. But if you are here for the whole journey, and with every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by A long, slow exhale. Let's take a deep breath in. And hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body. Feel how softness slowly settles into every part of your body. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow through your body. Feel your shoulders slowly falling, feel your body slowly softening, and feel how you are slowly slipping deeper into you. One more big breath in. And hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow this journey. As you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath, but hold it only for as long as it feels easy, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, I want to remind you of these inner children sitting at your feet. Take your next big breath. bring your attention to sadness. And again, see if you can form a picture of what this sad part of you, the part of you that sometimes experiences sadness, what would that part of you look like? And as you form a picture of sadness, let this part of you know you really are here to listen. As you take your next big breath and as you dive deep into you, allow sadness to remind you of how it speaks in you. When you do feel a sadness inside of you, what are the words that come up into your mind? What are the sentences that are on repeat? What is this sadness about? Simply a reminder of how sadness speaks within you. Take your next big breath. And in an attempt to really understand sadness, I want you to turn to this part of you, and as you take your next big breath, dive deep into you. Speak to this part of you and ask a question. Say, sadness, when you feel this sad, what is it that you're afraid will happen? And just listen for a response. Sometimes a response is instantly, but sometimes the response comes to us much later. Sadness, when you feel this sad, what is it that you're afraid will happen? Take your next big breath. A thank you to sadness for showing up, for being brave, for sharing. And then we'll bring our attention to anger, the part of you that sometimes experiences anger. See if you can form a picture of this angry part. What would the angry part of you look like? Please remind this part of you that you are here to really listen. You really do want to understand. And as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, ask anger to remind you of how it speaks. When you feel really angry, when it kind of takes over your body, what are the thoughts that come into your mind? What are the sentences that are on repeat? What are the words that you sometimes use when you feel so angry? Take your next big breath. And then, in an attempt to really understand the angry part of you, I want you to turn towards anger. And as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, speak to anger. Have this conversation. Say, anger, when you really feel this angry, what is it that you're afraid is going to happen? Take your next big breath. Thank you to anger for showing up, for being brave and sharing. And then we'll turn our attention to fear. Can you form a picture of the scared part of you? As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, invite fear to remind you of how it speaks within you. When you feel scared, when fear plays a big role in your body, what are the words that come up into your mind? Sentences on repeat, perhaps even words that you speak while you feel scared. Ask fear to remind you. Take your next big breath. And then in an attempt to understand fear as much as possible. Turn towards this part of you, turn towards fear. And as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, have this conversation. Say, fear, when you really feel that scared, what is it that you want for me? What is it that you want for us? What would be the goal that you're trying to reach for? Take your next big breath. A thank you to fear for showing up and being brave. We all have a multitude of different inner narratives. These are simple examples of a narrative that speaks in sadness or in anger, or in fear, or perhaps sometimes in shame, in guilt. The best that we can do is take a step back and realize there's something we can understand from this narrative. There's no part of ourselves, of our bodies, that is opposed to us, that is against us, that wants us to fail, but every part of ourselves is trying to be helpful in perhaps sometimes unhelpful ways. The most beautiful words I've ever read written on the subject comes from Rainer Maria Rilke, who spoke about, instead of our inner demons, he called them dragons. But his conclusion about these dragons was that perhaps everything that scares you is just something that is afraid and in need of your love. Perhaps everything inside of you that unsettles, scares, upsets you is just something that is afraid and needs your love, your acceptance, needs you to hold it for a while. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, slipping out of the breath holding space and into the next. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a long, slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, invite softness to come and settle into every cell of your body. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back, or even lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. I want to thank you for your journey, for being willing to come face to face with these parts of you. And often, we don't need to do much more than that. We need to create a space where we become the safe place. We become the safe place for sadness, for anger, for fear to be expressed, and just held while expressing. Muji writes beautifully on the effect that this has when we do this. He says these parts of you are like ice cubes, and you, yourself, your being, is like the warm water holding these ice cubes. There's only one natural conclusion when you do this. Slowly, slowly, the ice melts. It has to be that way. It's just the way that it is. When you are the safe space for these emotions to become expressed. I'll remind you again of Anita Moorjani's beautiful words. Loving yourself means being your own best friend. Standing by yourself at all times, including times of failure. Being there for yourself no matter what. Love yourself like your life depends on it, because it really does. And when you're good to yourself, you're actually being good to everyone around you, because when you feel good, you'll only react well to other people. Transform your world by transforming your internal state. And when you can completely love even your ego unconditionally and accept it as a part of how you express in this life, you'll no longer have a problem with it. It won't impede your growth. On the contrary, it'll be an asset. Thanks again, Anita Moorjani. I love this work this week. We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say yours. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you so much for this beautiful teaching. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning how to become the safe space for all emotional states to become expressed and feel held. Take a deep breath in. Thank you to you for doing your work and becoming the safe space for your own emotional state to be expressed. Because as you do that, you're changing the world. You're making the world around you a safer place. Because the better we get at doing it for ourselves, the more we naturally extend it to the humans around us. We become a safe place, even for their emotions to be expressed. And as we do that, we're teaching them to become their own safe place. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. Thank you for the beautiful work that you do. Thank you, Leshna and Linda and Anthony and Sunmari and Craig. Thank you so much for being in our space today. Have an awesome day, being the safe space for you. When you change the way you see yourself, everything really changes. Your relationship with the world changes, and most clearly your relationship with the humans around you. And there's no simpler way of changing how you see yourself than coming face to face with the worst parts of you and understanding that they sit differently than you thought. If you can have acceptance for these parts of you, then you see yourself completely differently. Have an awesome day. Lots of love to you all. Ciao, ciao.